What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right. That's right. And for everyone who's tuning in, we hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make the show the best that it can be. And the Behind the Bench crew wants to give a shout out and a great appreciation for those who have decided to subscribe to our channel. We have over close to 2,200 subscribers since we started this channel, and things are really revving up. Things are looking good, and you are definitely helping us reach our goal to provide sports content on the highest level and to be as objectionable as we can be. Now, let's talk about the NBA. Last night's action. On Saturday night, we saw the continuing battle between the Denver Nuggets, the defending champion Denver Nuggets, and the Los Angeles Lakers. And what's crazy about this, man, is that the Denver Nuggets are actually performing at a greater level than they did last year. They're on pace to win more games this season than they did last season. But the spotlight is not being focused on them the way that it should be as defending champions. And as of right now, they are battling amidst the other top two teams in the Western Conference. It's a 3-team race for the number one seed as we speak. Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder. They're all tied for first place as of right now, after the Minnesota Timberwolves lost to the Clippers at home by the score of 89-88. And later on this evening, the Oklahoma City Thunder will be taking on the Phoenix Suns. So the standings will change either way. It could be Oklahoma City at first place by evening's end, or there'd be a two-way tie for first place between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I just want to set the stage for what I want to talk about last night's game, where the Denver Nuggets prevailed once again, beating the Lakers for the 8th straight time, which includes the Western Conference Finals from last year, opening night this year, a second matchup about a month ago, and then last night. And it's the same pattern, man. It's the same pattern. The Lakers get off to a fast start or whatnot, and then in the second half, the Nuggets adjust, and they start to clamp up on defense. And then by the fourth quarter, that's all she wrote. And then the Joker really starts going to work. And then Murray, he shoots one big shot after the next. But I would say the player of the game last night for the Nuggets was Michael Porter Jr. He was perfect from the field. He was perfect shooting last night. I believe he was 10 for 10. Didn't miss one shot. That's what a champion does and rise to the occasion. And I know the Lakers have to be puzzled by what's going on, because you would think the way the media shows favoritism towards the Lakers versus the Nuggets, you would think the Lakers are the defending champions and that Denver is trying to dethrone them. And it's a total disrespect. And this was not the case in years past, decades past, generations past. Whoever was the defending champion throughout the course of that current season, they received the spotlight. The media made it known. The people covering the NBA, they would made it known that this is the team right here. Everybody is gunning for them, to beat them, to unseat them as champions, to overtake them. But that's not the case in this era of super teaming and stacking the deck. But when you peel back the layers, you see two teams that was built up from two different perspectives or two different motivations. And those two styles clash every time they face each other. It's all about mentality. It's all about mentality. The Lakers, when they brought LeBron James to this franchise in the summer of 2018, the focus went from having this tremendous future to look forward to. And then supplanting that with an all-time win-now scenario that generated panic, that generated impatience, that generated moves that they normally would not have done. And ultimately, you see one team, one organization that sold itself short, and then you see another organization that built itself up, that believed, that trusted in the players who they drafted. So when it looked like after the 2019-2020 season, when the Lakers won in the bubble, it looked like the Lakers were ahead of the pack. But in all actuality, as I keep alluding to, as a fan, as a lifelong fan of this franchise, for a very, very, very long time, to accomplish that win now mission, they were led to mortgage away a decade of players they should have had, draft picks they should have kept, and appropriate acquisitions and moves that they could have made that could have established a decade of success that was traded off for one season. And I always see is smoke and mirrors, a lot of talk, and a lot of hype. On the other side, you see a franchise that drafted a young man from internationally from the country of Serbia, in the second round, and through patience and development and implementing a system of play that attributes, that elevates his game, that bring forth his strength as a player, particularly at the center position. Nikola Jokic became a back-to-back league MVP, really should have won a third straight MVP last year. First player in the history of the NBA to average a 30-point triple-double throughout the playoffs. And it culminated in him leading the Denver Nuggets to their first ever franchise NBA World Championship. And then with the dynamic play of Jamal Murray, he is a big-time player. He is clutch. And then everybody feeds off of that. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, their starting two-guard, he was out yesterday. He was out of lineup yesterday. And they still overcame and still won. On the road, mind you. And what I see in Denver is what the Lakers could have been if they had stayed the course. Because as a fan of the original young core, the measuring stick was always the Denver Nuggets. So when these two teams clash, I'm more confident in Denver than I am in LA. It's because of mentality. It's because to me, their two best players are better than the Lakers' two best players, particularly down the stretch. It's no accident that they've beaten this team 8 straight times. The Nuggets have beaten the Lakers 8 straight times. They know how to beat them. They know how to beat them. It's because of mentality. What I mean by mentality is they play like a team that was built from scratch through years and years of solidifying their roster, building that chemistry and that confidence, going through playoff pressure, struggle, setback, coming back next year more determined. And if you notice, the Denver Nuggets, as I said, they are better this year than they were at the same point last year. They didn't sign one free agent this offseason, leading to this season. They didn't sign one free agent. They lost a key player in Bruce Brown, who should have stayed with Denver, but they were so confident in what they accomplished that they just continued to solidify and build from within. And they drafted additional young players to contribute to their roster coming off the bench. And they keep on keeping on, man. The other team was built mercenary style, bringing in a host of players, you know, like a caravan of players that's trying to strike fast, negate the process of what it really takes to become a champion. And this is why they're falling short when they play the Nuggets. The Nuggets have the mental edge over them because they didn't take any shortcuts. And that's the drawback of a LeBron James-led team. That's the drawback. If the Lakers would have stayed the course with their young core, Brandon Ingram, who's balling out down there in New Orleans, and New Orleans is, as of right now, they will qualify for the playoffs outright. Julius Randle. They drafted 2 centers. The Lakers are always clamoring for a center. They always need a big. They went through about 12 to 14 quote-unquote centers since they traded Ivica Zubac to the Los Angeles Clippers. Kyle Kuzma, who's averaging 22, 23 points a game for Washington. He has no business playing for that team, but he was traded because LeBron James at the time wanted another superstar, and they acquired Russell Westbrook, who was gone within a season and a half. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. So this win now proposal, when you really get down to it, it's guaranteed that you're going to lose and fall short more than you think that you're going to win if you embrace this mentality. It's a front runner's mentality, but at the same time, it's not a real winner's mentality. See, what I'm trying to say is, when you know that you're facing a real winner, sooner or later, you know that you will wind up losing. That's what I'm trying to say. You know the saying, it's a thin line between love and hate? Well, there's a thin line, there's a fine line normally between winning and losing. That line, ironically, it exacerbates the more you try to shortcut the process. Because there's always a team out there that's going to do it the right way, that's going to emerge and show that they're worthy of becoming real champions. Like, nobody really saw Denver coming, who was so accustomed to embracing this super team, stack the deck mindset. They didn't see him coming until they hit. Same thing with Golden State some 10 years ago. It's like history is repeating itself. So the Lakers are caught up in this quagmire because they mortgaged everything. And for the third straight year, they're battling to finish above the play-in bracket to qualify for the playoff outright. In the meantime, Denver's just coasting. What I mean by coasting is you confident every year they're going to win about 54 to 55 games, somewhere around there. But the win now team, the mercenary led team, they have trouble. They can't win 50 games. So, in closing, as you watched that game last night, the Lakers got out to that hot start because they trying to prove a point. But Denver they're champions, man. They just weather the storm, man, because they know at the end they're going to prevail. And it plays out like that every single time. And it's always around like the last 5-6 minutes of the fourth quarter. They lock in. It's almost like they play possum for 3 quarters, man. They like, okay, man, we don't want to, go all out. We just play our pace. We don't want to play their pace. We play our pace. We won't get beyond ourselves. Maintain our composure, and then by the end of the second quarter, going into halftime, it's a like a single digit lead, or maybe like a 3 possession game. That ain't nothing. The third quarter, they start to make they push. By end of the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter, the score is close to being tied, and then they just open up the can. But the last 6 minutes, man, and they start running that offense through Jokic. He start, they call him the Joker, man. I mean, he be playing his poker face throughout the first 3 quarters. And when he show that full hand, and at least that full hand, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. The Lakers don't know what to do. And then Murray plays off of that. Then he hits big shots. And it don't matter who guarding him. And then when they try to counter on defense, then Porter is ready to unleash. And then the fourth layer is Aaron Gordon. Then he makes an emphatic dunk to say game over. I'm telling you, man, they got him. Because the Denver Nuggets stay the course with their young talent. They stayed the course with Nikola Jokic drafted in the second round. They stayed the course with Jamal Murray, even after he suffered that ACL injury that cost him 2 seasons. He was playing on a sprained ankle last night. But that championship pedigree prevailed and showed through, man. It came through, and he hit big shot after big shot in that fourth quarter. Michael Porter dealing with back injuries. Now he's right. So what I'm saying is, man, perseverance, man, patience is a virtue. And the Lakers relinquished that opportunity to develop their young talent. And see what's sad about all this is, because of the fact that they mortgaged their young talent off, they'll never know what they could have been. Never. I mean, you may have some fans out there, they'll say, well, their young core won't do anything, they never won anything. But I'm not talking about where they at now. I'm talking about what they could have did playing for the team who drafted them. Where they would have developed that cohesion and chemistry just like Denver got, just like OKC developing. OKC, like I said, they're tied for first place as we speak. A lot of Memphis was doing great until, some internal stuff going on with the team and injuries. But they clinched the number 2 seed for two straight years. It pays to be patient. It pays to believe in your young talent. It pays to exercise patience and develop a long-term vision. This win now is too sporadic. It's too extreme. It's too coarse in nature. And you wind up selling yourself short and you become frustrated. Because what happens is when you go down this road, when you mortgage everything off, well, the only way that you try to keep this quote unquote charade going is you have to mortgage more of your future off that you already have. See, when they threw out the chips in the middle of the table to produce that bubble. That was all they chips. And they've been having to exploit all their assets and riches to try to fill the team around this guy. And they're losing, man. What I mean by losing is, I know they 4 games over 500, but there's no way in the world when you got 2 superstars that they keep telling us that the Lakers have, that they sitting there once again in the play-in bracket. Now, there's a long way to go in the season, but what I'm saying is, if the Lakers do make the playoffs, they're not going to be a home team in any round. They're going to be the road team every single time. And the top bracket has gotten even stronger, and you got more young teams that have ascended at the same time. So even after this year, you're going to be confronted with the same issue, the same problem. Teams are going to get stronger and stronger. The young players are going to get more experience, more veteran laden, but they got the young legs and the energy. So that's why I say all these teams that's in win now mode, Lakers, the Clippers, Phoenix, if it don't happen this year, it's over, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, with the new CBA, the protocols that really go into effect next year, it's going to be more difficult or practically impossible to continue to manipulate the cap to try to stack the deck. The CBA is eliminating that. So that's why drafting young talent and having draft picks available to draft young talent is going to be so essential and vital. The teams that have relinquished all that and given all that up, they're not going to be championship level for a long time. A long time. San Antonio's getting started with Victor Wembanyama. He looks to be as advertised. Houston Rockets have improved marginally. And there's always a team that comes out of nowhere that you don't expect to be good, and then you know they catch everybody off guard. So what I'm saying is it's not going to get any easier. And Denver's right there, prime, and they very well could repeat or at least win another championship down the road at some point. Because I believe Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. And see, that's the thing. You know, a lot of fans of LAL, they trying to come up with these explanations and saying why the Lakers can't win, but it's simply he's the best player on the court. And that's really what it comes down to. But Denver stayed the course with him and was patient, and now it's paying off. And that's what the Lakers should have did with their young core. Well, I just want to drop that nugget, man. And until next time, this is JB. That's right, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.